you have a purpose in life that you discovered that was greater than your circumstances. You found a way, started boxing, then you created the World Gay Boxing Championships, and now you're using your life for that. How does creating and discovering that make a difference to your personal life on a day-to-day basis?
Because I meet the right people for me and the right people for the common purpose, becoming a collective voice of change. There are some people, it's what I call shiny toy syndrome.
Mm.
Shiny toy, it's great, it's sparkling, you want to be in front of the media, Instagram, TikTok, whatever. But when the hard work comes, you're kind of finished. Tell me when I can be fabulous this time next year. You scratch beneath the surface. Is there something of substance? It's that you work with. You bake a cake with all the magical ingredients that everybody can enjoy the flavor, and there's a slice for everybody. So you find the people who believe in what you believe in, you support them, and they support you. And they just want to do it because they believe in the purpose. They're kind, compassionate people who open doors, transfer privilege, all of those things. People are more likely to support you if they see how determined and you're putting in the hard work. You don't lose weight by eating crisps every day and going for a walk to burn off the calories. You lose weight by eating fewer crisps and going for a walk. It's that caloric deficit. Well, if there's an energy deficit, you're not going to achieve as much as somebody who puts the energy in to achieving the outcome.
And so, how did you get connected to this purpose? Because you said you found what was right for you. And when I talk to so many people, they'll be like asking me, but how do I find what's right for me?
It comes down to common values and your core beliefs: courage, integrity, inclusion, respect, community, meeting people. That's how I found it. And then I saw the opportunity. Gay games wasn't offered, so boxing wasn't offered at the gay games I wanted to go to. So I created the competition and dedicated my life to eradicating hatred in sport, sacrificing a big part of my life. At the same time, it's been rewarding in terms of the difference I've made, the people I've met, the friendships I've made. If you have the guts to do it, do it. If you want to help somebody, help them. Don't complain when others achieve things that you had the opportunity of doing. You're invited to join them, but you decided not to.
I think that's really powerful because you talked about the shiny toy syndrome.
Yeah.
And when I look at your life, it's not sustainable. If I know you're the real deal because you've kept going in the face of so many obstacles. And that's what I love about your courage. Like, you have the courage to actually live out your core values, because it could be so easy not to do that on a daily basis. I know when I've compromised my core values, particularly in my early 20s, late 20s, and thinking that if I were to compromise, I would get ahead in life. But what I discovered when I compromised my values, I'm the one who's impacted. It led
Yeah.
for me to illness, mental health issues, financial ruin, and actually homelessness.
Yeah.
So I've discovered that the so-called trying to take the shortcut in life, follow other people's paths other than my own, is so detrimental. So I just want to really celebrate and acknowledge you for being one of those role models. And our relationship came out of that, really.
Absolutely. It's how we met, how we became friends. And I came over and we had coffee a couple of months ago.
Yes,
I
it was
mean,
so good.
I'm writing my book now, a memoir on courage. As part of the research, I wanted to look at what conversations were like the year I was born, or around the year I was born. Muhammad Ali, my absolute hero, he was interviewed several times by Michael Parkinson, who was Britain's probably most well-known talk show host, and he really got to the heart of the conversations. Now, we talk about racism today, and we still see, if you as we're recording this right now, what's happening in the UK. You know, the abject violence, the misinformation. But go back 50 years, Michael Parkinson challenging Muhammad Ali about why he talks about racism so much. And there was a person from the audience stood up with those words, why don't you? And it was essentially, why don't you focus on everybody being happy and equality and all of those things? Everything's okay, because this man was involved in England boxing. He said, we have black men and white men on the England boxing team in the 1970s, as if everything's okay. Now, absolutely, it was fantastic. There was visible representation of black male boxers in 1970s UK, where we know at that time there was abject racism and prejudice. How many barriers did they have to go through? But because there were black men on the England boxing team in the 1970s, did not mean there was not widespread racism in the 1970s. What we celebrate is that barriers were removed so that people could be part of the boxing team, but it doesn't stop there. So it's that's the nuance. It's anger and empathy are two sides of the same coin. Right now, too many people are angry, not having empathy. That will flip. You have empathy for people and anger at prejudice. At the moment, there's too much anger about people saying, I'm experiencing prejudice and I want your empathy.
It's fascinating. Recently I got evicted from my home. It's not eviction, but we've been given 30 days notice to leave our home. And I shared this on LinkedIn. But for me, what was traumatizing was all the other families with children who are told they have to leave their home in 30 days to try to find a new school, change doctors, friendships. It's awful. And I was angry. I was absolutely angry. Now, when I wrote this post, I wrote it from understanding and empathy. I'll be fine. I've got the toolkits, I live in Australia. I've got resources. I'll be fine. But there was a person really on LinkedIn who started shaming and blaming, ministers, political parties. And I felt slightly uncomfortable with that, approach, because I know that as imperfect as things are, many people are trying to do their best to cause change.